Master of Chaos. The news never sleeps. The alarm went off, and Nelson threw off the covers and jumped out of bed, excited. This is it! This is it! He ran to brush his teeth. He got dressed in jeans and a purple sweatshirt, then slid down the stair railing, running to get breakfast. He ate a bowl of cereal and packed a sandwich. His mom came out and called up the stairs, Honey, time to wake up! I'm up, Mom, Nelson called, coming out of the kitchen. Nelson? His mom said. Why are you... I'm starting today, remember? As a paper boy, he said, quickly hugging her. I gotta run. See you, Mom, he said. Wait, I'll make you a sandwich, she offered. I already did. It's in my bag. I gotta get my bike ready, Nelson said as he ran out the door. He put some air in the tires, then tossed the pump aside and straddled the bike. He started to go, but his mom came and stopped him. Hey, forgot something? She said, holding up his helmet. Mom, please, I'm gonna be late, Nelson said as his mom put the helmet on his head and kissed his cheek. What do you do when you get to an intersection? She asked him. Look both directions. I'm not 6 anymore, Mom, he replied. I know. Just be careful, she said as he pedaled off. We don't want any more boo-boos, right? She called after him, recalling all the bones he had broken over the years. Nelson sped off to the newspaper warehouse in Ninjago City. Several other kids were already there with their bikes. One of them saw him. Fresh meat, huh? The boy snickered. How long do you think he's gonna last? Another kid added. Don't listen, kid. You'll be fine, the third assured Nelson. A buck says he doesn't make it to the end of the day, the first boy said, making the other paper boy snicker. The supervisor, Sammy, opened the door of the warehouse and stepped outside with a clipboard. Hey, listen up! Announcements, he said. He cleared his throat and read from the clipboard. Routes 7 and 9 are closed due to hostile conditions, and Route 23 is designated quadruple black diamond. Avoid with extreme prejudice. Got it? Nelson looked up as a girl a year or two older than him pedaled in and stopped right next to him. He could see that the roots of her short hair were black, but she dyed it a deep crimson. 10-speed and Spokes are out with injuries and Knuckles, quit, Sammy continued. The paper boys groaned. So that leaves us short, but we'll manage, right? Sammy said. The kids all looked down. Right? Does the news sleep? Sammy asked. The news never sleeps, all the kids shouted. Oh yeah, one more thing. We got a new paper boy, Sammy added, and all eyes turned to Nelson. He felt a little nervous. What's your name again, kid? Sammy asked. Nelson, he stammered. Nelson, you're with Antonia. Show him the ropes, Antonia. Bring him back alive, Sammy said, gesturing to the girl next to Nelson. Antonia nodded. All right then, kick the tires, light the fires, let's go, Sammy ordered, and all the kids grabbed stacks of newspapers and headed out. Ready, kid? Antonia asked. Wait, what did he mean, bring me back alive? Nelson stammered, a sinking feeling in his stomach. Hey, relax. Do what I say, and when I say it, and you'll make it, I promise, Antonia assured. Make it? Why wouldn't I make it? What do you mean, make it? Nelson exclaimed. It's Ninjago City, she replied, pedaling away. What? Wait for me, Nelson called, hurrying to keep up. She biked crazy, in his opinion, narrowly dodging cars, taking turns so sharp she nearly fell over sideways, and just tossing papers as she did so. Nelson barely avoided getting hit by cars. He looked up, seeing fireballs in the sky. What's that? He asked. He screamed, swerving around a giant cobra that seemed to be made out of fire. There were more flaming snakes in the streets, and they were shooting fireballs everywhere. Antonia seemed completely unfazed, continuing to deliver papers while dodging the snakes. Nelson finally caught up. What's happening? Why are there giant snakes? And why are they falling out of the sky? And why are they made of fire? He cried, waving his arms. Who knows? Just keep your head down and keep pedaling, Antonia replied, speeding away. How's that gonna help? Nelson wondered. Wait! He screamed as he pedaled away from another flaming cobra. Wait! Antonia jumped her bike over a snake's tail and continued delivering newspapers. Both kids stopped at a corner. That's Samurai X fighting 3 giant snakes, Nelson gasped. Wait for my cue, and when I say, go as fast as you can. Got it? Antonia instructed. As Samurai X battled the snakes, there was a small opening for them to get past. Now! Burn rubber! Antonia shouted, pedaling hard. Nelson followed. Excuse me. Coming through, he panted as he rode past. He stopped as Samurai X started finding more snakes. Hey, come on, Antonia called. He needs our help, Nelson said. Trust me, kid, he doesn't. He's got this, Antonia assured. Sure enough, Samurai X took out the snakes and flew away. Wow, Nelson breathed. What'd I tell you? Can we go now? Antonia said, pedaling away. Nelson followed her. They stopped in an alley to eat lunch. Is it always like that out there? Nelson asked. Like what? Antonia asked, eating her sandwich. Missiles and monsters and snakes and lava balls and giant robots? He exclaimed. Pretty much. Another time there was a giant stone monster and a bunch of crazy bikers, Antonia replied. Nelson reached into his bag and pulled out a blackened sandwich. Oh man, my lunch got hit by a fireball, he said sadly. The sandwich disintegrated into ash in his hand. Antonia pulled out another sandwich from her own bag and offered it to Nelson. Go on, she said. Nelson took it. Thanks, he said. We paper boys gotta stick together. The city's crazy, but everyone's doing their part. We may not be ninja, but our job's important too. People gotta know what's going on, Antonia said. News never sleeps, Nelson recalled, eating his sandwich. The news never sleeps, Antonia agreed. They finished their lunch and headed out again, delivering newspapers as chaos and fire rained down from above and Samurai X worked to keep the snakes at bay. A fireball hit the street in front of them and a fire snake rose up, hissing. I'll go left, you go right, Antonia said, and the two of them went around as the snake lunged at them. It turned to follow, but Nelson threw a stack of newspapers at its face, stunning it. Nelson and Antonia came upon a police blockade with a wall of fire behind it. The cop frantically blew his whistle for them to stop, but they rode up on the car and jumped over easily. The officer stared at them in surprise. They continued making deliveries. Thanks, new guy. Thanks, Antonia, one man called as he caught a paper that Nelson had thrown. They stopped at a corner when they saw something falling from the sky. It wasn't a fireball. What's that? Nelson wondered. I have no clue, Antonia replied. It crashed in the bushes nearby and Nelson and Antonia went to go see. It turned out to be a man. Gee, mister, you okay? Antonia asked, helping him sit up. Whoa, where am I? What day is it? He stammered. What? It's Monday. You're in Ninjago City, Antonia said. You must have hit your head pretty hard, Nelson said. I gotta warn someone. I gotta tell them, the man babbled. Tell them what? Nelson asked. The man grabbed his shoulders frantically. The ninja! They're trapped! He jumped up. They need help! Trapped? Where? How? Nelson asked. The pyramid. Someone's gotta get into the pyramid to help them before... He didn't get to finish his sentence before he collapsed. Nelson and Antonia looked down at him in shock. They watched as an ambulance came to take the man away. He'll be fine. Don't worry, Antonia said. Hey, what about what he said? About the ninja? Nelson asked. We're paper boys, kid. That's a little out of our league, she told him. Which way is the monastery? Nelson said, his mind already made up. Forget it. It's not our problem, Antonia said, turning away. You said we have a responsibility. It's our job to let people know what's happening, Nelson pointed out. Antonia shook her head in frustration. The news never sleeps, remember? Nelson said. Antonia turned to him again. The monastery is that way, she said, pointing. And the only way to there from here is Route 23, which you don't want. Trust me. She hopped on her bike and started to pedal away. Everyone has to do their part. Those were your words, Nelson reminded her. Antonia sighed. Okay, kid, but stick close. Things could get hairy, she warned, and they pedaled off toward Route 23. They arrived at a freeway that had been partly destroyed, leaving a massive gap. This is it. Route 23. Still sure you want to try it? Antonia asked him. Nelson didn't get a chance to reply. There was a screech, and both kids turned to see a fire snake making its way toward them. Oh no, Nelson said. Come on, it's now or never, Antonia said, pedaling hard. Wait, I'm not sure this was a good idea, Nelson stammered. Too late. Just do what I do and you'll make it. Come on, she called, jumping the gap and landing on the other side. Your turn. Come on, she shouted. No, wait. No way. No. I can't do that, Nelson panicked. You gotta. You don't have a choice. Come on, Antonia told him. Nelson looked back at the fire snake that was getting closer. He took his helmet off and looked at the throwing star imprinted on the inside. Ninja never quit, he muttered to himself. He pulled on a homemade ninja hood, put his helmet back on, and started pedaling hard. He jumped the gap, landing a little roughly, but he was fine. He pulled off the helmet and the hood and checked himself for injuries. Nothing broken? I'm alive! I'm alive! He gasped. Told you could do it, Antonia said. The fire snake roared, and they quickly rode off toward the monastery. They made it to the doors of the monastery of Spinjitzu. I can't believe we're here. We're actually here, Nelson stammered. Antonia knocked on the door. Hope you know what you're going to say, kid, she said. Me? Why me? Nelson asked. This was your idea, she replied. The door opened, and there stood Master Wu. May I help you? He asked. You're, Nelson stammered. Go on, tell him, Antonia said, giving him a nudge. We found a guy in the city who crashed into some bushes riding a fireball, and he told us the ninja are in trouble, Nelson said quickly. What? Where? How? Wu asked, shocked. He said they were trapped in a pyramid in the desert, Nelson said, pointing. And you came all this way to tell me? Wu asked. Just doing our part, sir, like everyone else, Nelson declared proudly. Wu smiled, putting a hand on Nelson's shoulder. Thank you, my son. You remind me of another young boy who was once a student of mine. His name was Lloyd. Nelson looked at him in surprise. I must tell Pixel. Thank you, both of you, Wu said, turning to re-enter the monastery. Straight home now. Go, and please, be careful. The door shut. He just compared me to the Green Ninja. Did you hear that? Nelson said excitedly. I heard it. Come on, Purple Ninja. The news never sleeps, Antonia said, and they headed back down the mountain.